Like, stay tuned, man. There's more of the scoop.
To return some videotapes. To return some videotapes. To return some videotapes. To return some videotapes. To return some videotapes.
Welcome back, once again, one and all, to the glorious Strange Glow video on the Ectoviolence channel. I'm your host, Conan O'Brien, and with me as always is Andy Richter.
Yes, I'm Andy Richter.
Who was in Obsession, by the way.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Andy Richter is in that movie. Not very much, though, to be honest, but a little bit. How's everybody doing out there in the audience tonight? We're chilling. Justin's looking up butt porn, and we are.
Well, I can't see Alec moving, so hopefully you can. So if you're in the chat, let us know if Alec is existing correctly in this live stream era.
Maybe I'm just a still life. See what I did there?
That would be pretty funny, just to do a cardboard cutout of yourself and just like set it in the room.
It'd be fucking amazing. At one point, that reminds me, H3 Podcast had a guy during COVID. They had a special effects puppet made of him that they called AI Ian, and he just used like a voice filter and puppeteered it from off camera. And it was like, it looked like cool. A Terminator-ass version of him with like red eyes and like sharp teeth and shit. But it was like, they spent 10 grand on that shit or something, you know? It was wild.
I mean, you only live once. You may as well have fun with it, I guess.
Yeah. So we're talking Backrooms and maybe some other shit later on, but Backrooms is the main thing, especially with how it's doing at the box office and everybody. And I do want to talk a little bit about some of the narrative happening this weekend. Like there's some merit to what they're saying, the press, and then there's parts of it that are like, well, chill out a little bit. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll get there in a little bit. Let's just talk about the movie first, I guess. So I know you hadn't watched the shorts, so we have at least two different perspectives about this movie, because I've watched every Kane Parsons Backrooms short at least once.
Okay.
And I've watched most of them twice, so. And some of them are like 30 seconds, some are 5 minutes. I think the longest one's about 46 minutes.
Yeah, I don't think, well, I guess that's a good question. How much of the general viewing audience has seen those?
I feel
say like there's a significant amount.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say 60% probably. There's a lot of word of mouth throughout this movie going on right now that I think is drawing in crowds. Yeah. But I think like the early Thursday night previews and then, the Friday night release, Saturday night, I think was pretty heavily driven by people that have probably seen that
Thursday, right? So, and that's the thing is, there's teenagers that are dragging their parents to this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, it's doing. I've seen a lot of people compare it to Five Nights at Freddy's, and I think that's the best comparison, just because that has like a cult following online audience, and that audience is being brought to the theater. And
yes.
That is confusing for movie studios. They're like, what the fuck's happening here?
Yeah, I think we're starting to see that now, that a number of YouTubers have crossed over to have motion pictures, having directed them or been involved in several ways. So we're at a very interesting point where studios are trying to figure that piece out, because before studios didn't really take YouTube seriously in some of those ways, but now I think they're starting to find the value, because really Hollywood's in that conundrum of, if it's not an IP, they're not messing with stuff as much.
Well, I also read that the way they found Kane Parsons to make this deal was by putting like assistants and interns in charge of like watching YouTube videos and monitoring it and looking for people making creative, talented shit. And like,
okay.
you know, James Wan is one of the people they had reach out to this guy. I don't know if you saw the producing credits for this movie, but James Wan was a producer. Sean Levy was a producer who produced, you know, Stranger Things, among other things. And then Oscar Perkins, who recently directed Longlegs and The Monkey. He was also, and he did another movie in there too, I think, that I forgot about. Talk to Me or something. Was he did one of those maybe? Or was that somebody else?
I can't say off the top of my head.
There's horror movies that I missed. You know what I mean? Ones that I want. I still haven't seen Passenger. Sure. Passenger kind of got blown out of the water by Obsession. But I was like, I thought Obsession looked great when I saw the very first teaser trailers. That the teaser trailer was just him in the car calling the hotline and being like, I don't like my wish.
Yeah.
And that looked good.
Yeah, and I think when you look at original movies and original projects, horror lends itself well to that, because one of the advantages to horror is that you don't have to have A-list casting. You can go with some folks that may not be...
What the hell? He just disappeared. Maybe he slipped into the back rooms. I mean, damn. All right, now he's back. Hold on. Let me put him back on screen.
So on my end, can you see me now?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, so Streamlabs is messing up on my end where I'm at. I see two versions of you, the frozen version, and now I see a moving version of you.
Sick.
Well, you're not moving again. The other one froze. And then I see a frozen version of the chat box you shared.
Sick.
So.
Good to know.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, Sad Boy Mode says, Scream 8 got confirmed for release on July 16th or October 1st, 2027. What do you think about that release date? Well, that's two different release dates. And I think those are just rumors at this point, right? Either or. I mean, the thing is, Scream 8. I think Scream 7 was the worst entry in the franchise. So I'm not like, my God, I can't wait for Scream 8. But that being said, I do have Scream 7 pre-ordered on 4K. When it comes, I'm going to rewatch it. With 5 and 6, I liked them more the more I've rewatched them. And if nothing else, I'll enjoy it for the schlocky, just slasher elements in it. But I'm just not super stoked for Scream 8. Like, Scream 7, I mean, definitely not my favorite movie of the year. It's a true release date, you're saying, but, like, you gave me two dates, so that's why I'm saying that. Like, I don't know. On July 16th, are you saying it's confirmed for release? Either or. I've just seen rumors about it. I didn't see anything official announced. If it is official, that's fine. That's fine. That's fun. I'm not that excited for it, I guess. I'm getting bitten over here for attention.
My expectations just keep going down for anything Scream related, and it's just because they just don't know what the fuck they want to do with it, and it's just an IP that they won't let die or give more room to breathe again.
Yeah.
Like, if you ask me, they need to give this 3 or 4 years and let it breathe and let it have some social commentary again, like the Scream franchise has almost always done.
It's just that it's making money, so they're just going to keep pumping them out now.
Yeah.
Because it had I think it was the most successful Scream release theatrically, I think. I mean...
Yeah.
The hype for it was real and all that, and I went to see it the day it came out, you know? One of those people, but...
No, I get it, but you've killed off so many of the characters. There's really only a few originals left, and at this point...
I mean, that's not what bothers me. It just bothers me that movie sucked dick for like 400 different reasons. Like, literally,
yeah.
I'm thinking about them right now. Like, the motives were trash. Um, the writers for Scream 5 confirmed that the Mark that she was dating was supposed to be, or was married to and had kids with, was supposed to be the Mark from Scream 3. They retconned that, essentially. Which is just, I don't know, weird, I guess. And then, I don't know. It's just shitty. Like, the kills were so over the top, they were borderline Terrifier style, like, kills without the blood. And then I did like that they had, like, the weird extra ghost face in there. That was a cool element I liked, even though he's a manipulated character that kind of meant nothing.
Yeah.
There was one or two things I did think they were redeeming about it. I liked that Marco Beltrame, Kevin Williamson's back. But Kevin Williamson, obviously, he even said himself, he was like, I'm not interested in really doing the meta element with this. I'm just kind of like trying to tell Sydney's story. Okay, well, by doing that, you just become what Scream was lampooning to begin with. So, I don't know, it's just one of those things. Like, I think a lot of the younger audience really likes Scream 7. But the older crowd, I don't know many people who are like over 30 who were like, yeah, Scream 7 ruled. And that's fine. Like, I'm just stoked that there are young people that are liking these things, but...
Yes, I will say that, right? Same thing goes for anymore when someone says like an original writer's coming back from something. I'm fucking terrified now. Because we saw Jurassic World Rebirth and they all fucking hyped up, oh, he's coming back to write the script. The original, who co-wrote with Michael Crichton. I forget what his name is off the top of my head.
Yeah, me too.
And, they hyped that up, and then that movie was fucking flaming garbage. Like, cool dinosaur movie, exciting. Same shit we've seen fucking 10 times.
I think they're making another one too.
Oh, yeah. It's IP. They're never going to let this stuff die as long as it makes money.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's why we're lucky to get a Backrooms where we have something that's kind of a unique idea, something new, something fresh, but they're already talking about the sequel, right? So they're intentionally looking for new properties that they can turn into IP.
I think, though, I am definitely down to see another Backrooms movie simply because of what you can do with it. I think that is a property that the common denominator will be the Backrooms and maybe Async. It's not going to be things like, Shall We Tell Eve Before is not going to come back. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, if you're to see characters that have been there before, it may be experiential like it is in the Backrooms, right?
The only character you might see again from that movie is going to be the doctor, Phil. The scientist guy. And then...
Yeah, Mark Duplass. Yep.
At most, I think, other than the Backrooms themselves. And you might see something about them studying Pirate Clark or something, you never know. But yeah, there's just lots of fun stuff there they could do with that.
I definitely think they're going to sequelize this, and there's some interesting concepts because ideally something that's like this has a lot of room for sequels where you're not relying on the same actors every single time, which works.
Yeah.
So.
And the Obsession director, he came from YouTube as well, and is he's already attached with another movie of some sort. I think that's original, and a Texas Chainsaw reboot, or another entry in the franchise.
I don't know. I'm at the point where I think we need a fucking decade away from Texas Chainsaw. They fucked that up so bad.
If you're going to do something... They fuck it up all the time, I think. Yeah, so it's one of those things. I'm not as fragile about the Texas Chainsaw. I think that's one of those franchises. Give it to fucking anybody. I don't give a shit who you give it to, as long as they like the movies and want to do something, because half the movies are shit already. It's almost like... a Godzilla type franchise where there's some really wacky shit and some really serious in tone shit. Like that first Texas Chainsaw, you compare that to the first Godzilla movie, like for this analogy, obviously. And then you have the weird, crazy shit later on. And I mean, Texas Chainsaw went there immediately with the first sequel. It was a completely different tone, completely wacky and awesome. And I have mixed feelings on some of them throughout. Like, I actually like Texas Chainsaw 3D, even though it has the worst line in any of the movies. The do you thing, cuz I think she says, But I was just doing the Paul Walker from Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yeah.
Combining
IPs.
Combining the worst lines in movie history. I said, forget about it, coming out of Paul Walker's mouth.
Yeah. Like, Texas Chainsaw franchise is entertaining for me. It's not like something I get superly hyped over. I'm just like, okay, I'll check it out. But we'll see. I mean, if you got somebody fresh giving a crack at it, that's intriguing.
Yeah.
Right? It's not somebody that's already in Hollywood or whatever else, or, kind of already there.
So I don't think I saw Lights Out. Last Movie Standing says, let's not forget David Sandberg was a YouTube filmmaker with Lights Out and made a big... Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's like so many, and it's been going on longer than just the last year. It's just that the last year's been really prominent with this. And right now, it's just crazy that the number 1 and number 2 movie are both horror movies directed by YouTubers, essentially.
Yeah, and I think the other thing to that, too, is the general press is talking a lot about the YouTube aspect of that, just mostly, I think, because there's a couple of them going on at the same time right now.
Well, they're definitely overblowing the, like, young people and YouTubers thing right now. They're blowing it out of proportion, I think, just a little bit, because it's just the fact that these are original and compelling stories, and Backrooms already had a following. Like that's what I'm saying. Like Five Nights at Freddy's did.
Yeah.
Because people are comparing it more to Skinamarink, but that was based on a creepypasta as well, but it wasn't based on like a whole YouTuber's specific lore. Like, this is basically a direct sequel to his YouTube series. So everyone who watched those over the last 4 years is like, fuck yeah, I'm going to see this movie. And they had mixed opinions on it, but...
Yeah, well, so let's talk the movie itself. I mean, I look at this and I enjoyed the hell out of it, but that's coming from somebody that likes David Lynch. Obviously, you do too. And, there's some of that element of, it's very abstract in ways. It's very surreal in ways that Lynch has done. And so...
Yeah, exactly. Last Movie Standing says Hollywood is all about IP, and technically Backrooms was an existing IP, too, with a following, exactly. It was just transforming it. It's basically like an adaptation of a popular video game or something. You know what I mean? That has a cult following. Just like Five Nights at Freddy's. It was online cult following.
Yeah.
Like, that's why... I went to go see it. I thought it looked great, too. The concept was very fascinating to me. And it may be a hot take, but I also liked it better than Obsession. I liked Obsession, okay? But I think it was overhyped a little bit. It's doing great, though, and I'm happy for the guy. But I just enjoy Backrooms. It's just more my type of movie. And...
I think... my favorite thing about this is we're getting more people into theaters.
Oh, for sure.
Because that, to me, that's the scariest thing. Is like, you got to have people in theaters year round. It can't just be like your summer tent pole, like, oh, here's your big expensive blockbuster movie. Like, everything needs to have a shot. And that movie, right, for a movie that started on YouTube and has that background to it, really lended itself to a theater for the whole experience, right? The sound design in there was fucking phenomenal. That was one thing I haven't seen a lot of people talking about. The sound design was eerie as fuck for those rooms. Like, you really feel like you're in there in a large theater with good sound. I love the score.
I was about to say the score is excellent because there's pieces of it that were done by other artists that it seems like it's part of the score for the movie, but it's not. They were done by other artists, and they're like just ambient tracks that he used previously in his shorts. There's like 2 or 3 of those, and then there's pieces of music that he wrote himself for the shorts that he just brought over. And then he collaborated with a composer and did an actual score for the movie too. So there's like all of that brought together, and the actual score for the movie is fucking incredible. I've been listening to it on Spotify.
Yeah. Well, I think if you're talking about young people getting into filmmaking at, I don't want to say an elite level of this because that sounds kind of fucking pompous, but just at a, let's just say mainstream release level, you're seeing a lot of artists that have like this mixed media palette now, right? You said he composed some of this music.
Exactly.
Obviously, he started doing these when he was what, 16, if he's 20 now, right? Or
Yeah.
15 or 16 probably.
That's one
So
of the
you're
things that's
talking,
like, it's just such a meme. If you go to any video
hmm
in his comment section, it's like, wow, I can't believe Kane Parsons was only 3 months old when he made this video.
yeah. But what I think that's going to be a huge key to new filmmakers is being multi-talented and not just one creative outlet,
Yeah.
right? So someone that can do the music, that can, and you said he did some of the 3D designing himself too.
Well,
So
he
you're talking
he
about,
did. That's the thing is like all the shorts he did himself, like in Blender. Like
yeah.
and there's some real footage in there too, and then it advanced as it went on. But like the way he did this one, I think he did almost the entire film in Blender, like pre-visuals. I watched an interview. He
Oh,
was talking
okay.
about it with James Wan. He like almost made the whole movie in Blender, and then was like, "Okay, now what do we need to make real?" Essentially, and
Yeah,
then kind
determining
of
key
like,
sets.
yeah, and that's just
And
crazy.
so you look at that, that's fascinating because not only did he wrote it, directed it, um, did music for it, and then did all that in Blender. Like again, that just comes back to that multifaceted artist aspect of it, where
Yeah, I don't think he was like.
that's
I think, like I said, he just did like the early versions of it, so he's probably not even necessarily. I don't know how much credit he even gets for like effects and whatnot, but like it's just impressive no matter how you slice it. It's like I've always been of that like thought though. Like if I'm ever gonna direct a movie, I'm doing the fucking music.
yeah, it's that John Carpenter thing. It's that David
Yeah.
Lynch thing where like they have this musical mindset where that
hmm
expands beyond just what's on the film. It becomes everything entirely, and I think that can't be
I mean, Robert Rodriguez
overstated
scores his
enough.
own movies sometimes too. It's I really
Yeah.
appreciate that because it's like a vision coming full circle if they really know what they're doing.
Yes. No, that's I just think that's awesome because even if Kane didn't do a lot of this in Blender for the movie, he still has the background and experience to like guide the artists because he has this background and knowledge of that tool.
Yeah.
And so like that just can you imagine that like already coming into a project like that and not having to learn the FX side of it because you already have a pretty solid foundation of it because you've been doing it on your own?
Yeah.
That's a fascinating concept there,
Well,
right? And
that's what
we're
they're
really at
saying.
that point.
Like when James Wan and them were reaching out to this guy, he was still in high school. And they're like,
hmm
shit, this guy's in high school and I'm trying to get him to direct a movie.
Direct a movie. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like, how about I graduate first, guys, and then after that I can start my career.
it's pretty wild. Um, but let's, I guess, get into some specifics here. There's, obviously, Chiwetel, I think that's how you say his name, Chiwetel Ejiofor. Ejiofor?
hmm
Ejiofor.
I'll let you butcher that, buddy.
Chiwetel Ejiofor. Great actor. I like him. Did a great job. I've seen other people criticizing the performances in this movie, which I think is absurd, but what do I know? Um, he's just very believable. And for the first while, you like want to like his character, even when he's in that therapy scene. He's being angry and stuff.
hmm
But as it goes on, you slowly start to be like, what the fuck's wrong with this guy? Like, there's some real shit here. Obviously, you had that scene in the therapy when he explodes, but until they get that dinner scene, which was very, I've seen people say very Texas Chainsaw, the dinner scene. And I was like, yeah, kind of is.
Okay.
Um, I don't. It's hard to even know where to start when I'm talking about this movie, but
Well, I think, he's the first character we spend a lot of time with, so he's fascinating there. But to your point, yeah, at first he's sold as this down on his luck kind of a guy. And, he's not where he wants to be, but then you realize, like, he did this to himself. Like, he has failed to learn and adapt and change and is stuck. So
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty wild.
It is worth
to
noting
see.
that Kane Parsons did not write this film. He probably contributed, but he didn't write it.
Oh, okay. I thought he had. Oh, that's right. Somebody else has the writing credit, but
But I think that's just because, like, he's like, fuck, he probably wanted that. And Will Sudick is who wrote it, technically.
I
But,
didn't
it's
see
like
because
you're giving a young person all this power with no experience other than
yeah.
the YouTube experience. That's probably was part of the deal. Same with all the 100 billion producers that were always there.
Mm-hmm.
Because this movie has like 10 producers, man.
Yeah. So the writers, I see Will Sudick and then Kane Parsons, but I think in the movie it just said written by Will on there.
Yeah.
I don't think they included Kane on it. If anything, I figured we'd see a story by Kane because, he kind of came up with that concept.
Yeah.
But, I mean, and I'm okay with that, right? Okay, not everyone needs to be a writer-director.
Yeah.
There's plenty of people that just direct great fucking films that didn't write them, and that's awesome, too.
I was about to say he had to probably inform him on a lot of this stuff. Like
Oh, for
how
sure.
exactly the lore and all that would go down and whatnot, because it's not just like, I mean, it's his creation ultimately. He wrote everything before, so.
Yeah.
Then we have the therapist character, which again,
Yeah.
I do want to reiterate, I think is the main character of the film. She is the first character
Yeah.
we see. We see the handprint
Mm-hmm.
scene.
Yeah, that's Mary.
Oh yeah, Mary Klein.
So this movie has some like topical themes, but it doesn't have like traditional linear storytelling. There's just enough ambiguity to it to have it not be like a start to finish, every detail explained. But Mary's a fascinating character because we learn about her childhood trauma, and yet we don't get to learn about Clark's childhood trauma. So like Clark's childhood trauma is just you just see two sides of this. Mary has addressed her childhood trauma. She's gone in to become a therapist. Like, she's very fascinated by the shit she experienced. And yet Clark is just out here being a fucking garbage human and using that as an excuse to justify why he's a piece of shit.
I was gonna say
It's very interesting to see that.
I was gonna say she gives me the vibes that she is not over her childhood trauma. She's just well adjusted and knows how to deal with it. And then you have that whole thing with her book on tape series, the Through the Window or Open the Window or whatever it's called. And then he eventually calls her when he's in the back room. He's like, I've opened the window, He's like trying to communicate that. And then you even see the drawing has Pirate Clark lifting someone up to the window or out of the window, or I guess there's numerous ways you can take that, but but she, I think, definitely is still dealing with that shit. That's why she has that handprint, and that's why we keep coming back to that, because she eventually, I think, it's very on the nose, but she breaks through by smashing it on fucking Clark's face.
Yes,
literally smashes it.
She has her breakthrough there. Like, even though she's a competent, obviously successful therapist, every real therapist that I've ever talked to, or just anyone in that field that I've had a discussion with, I've got help for myself before, and I've not gotten into details with those people, but just people I know that have done that type of work, they all admit to having something that takes them there. So it is fascinating to show that there's a character that has some shit going on and has gone into this world, and you see how it affects her.
Yeah. Then there's elements that I think a lot of people picked up on pretty quickly, which were Clark is abusive towards his wife, not just like verbally. I think that much was pretty obviously stated, but like perhaps physically too. And Pirate Clark, when he shows up in the kitchen scene, you see the redheaded in the corner run into the other corner, run away from him. It's pretty obvious there that that's the wife. Also, the fact that she has red hair, he cuts the red hair off, puts it on her. Another thing that made it obvious was when he was like, somewhere out there, there's a man in a wheelchair with a red lamp, and somewhere out there, there's a man in a button-down shirt. And then he doesn't say anything. He just looks back at her in the corner and then looks forward again and starts continuing on with his speech. Because he was going to say, you know, like, what am I going to say? That's somewhere out there is my wife.
Yeah, you get to that point, but you don't even need that, though.
Well, right. You don't need that. I'm just saying, like, that's what the thought process is there. He's like, I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah.
And then
Well,
I've seen
and I
people
like the
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say
I like the ambiguity of Pirate Clark.
Yeah.
That manifests in there, right? Like, we don't understand how those things manifest in this realm, yet they are very real because obviously it murders him, and then they recover it later.
It's
so
interesting.
To me, like,
I don't think it copies, because I've seen people think that it copies anything that goes into it. I think not only does it do that, possibly, but I think Pirate Clark has existed in the Backrooms before Clark did. Is how I'm reading the movie. Before Clark went into the Backrooms, Pirate Clark existed, because that's the first, in that first found footage video, we see that. We see, in the very beginning of the film, Pirate Clark come out of it's just a shadow, but you see it. And then...
So somehow Clark has manifested that into this other area.
But I think that's because he's already maybe in close proximity to the Backrooms every day, potentially.
Okay. Yeah,
I mean, I don't know exactly
portal.
how to read that.
Yeah.
But I think it definitely copies memories. And you can see that with, like, her rubble that's in there at the end. But also, it has to... It's either doing things by proximity also, or it's once you're inside and you leave, you're linked forever or something like that, because the last shot of the film has her in that office. It's like a version of her being interviewed, but she's by herself.
Yes.
It's that same version of that, but it's the backroom version of that room.
And
she's in there.
And what I did like was that, I don't even know what you want to call them, if you want to call them the duplicants or the...
They're still lifes, I guess.
Okay, so the still life. So I like how none of the still lifes were identical in the way they looked. It wasn't like they all had a certain number of sets of eyes or anything.
Yeah.
Like, they are all affected by the area around them, and they basically become furniture. Like, right? So there's just all these spaces filled with furniture.
I'm telling you, when
then
you get some time, you need to go watch the shorts, too, because there's more still lifes in the shorts. And they are significantly different than these ones, too.
Good. I like that. I like how that all manifests differently. But yeah, I'll be checking those out here soon.
Some of it almost looks like walking cables and cameras. Like if a camera got up on cables and walked around and shit. Some of them look like that. It's weird shit.
Okay.
It's like stuff that isn't necessarily something that was alive to begin with, or like you know what I mean? I don't know. It's hard. So many weird things, like the cavemen. Those were in the shorts too. Somebody comes across one of those in there, and it has the same audio playing. Which, if you didn't know, is the audio from the gold record on the Voyager spacecraft.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's basically greetings in a bunch of different languages.
Yeah.
And I've seen lots of theories on that. The most simple theory is, okay, obviously Async, we know that Async put them there, but they put them there to potentially communicate with these things. Or as in the case of the last scene, they use it to try to attract something at least, and then to subdue it with all those sprays once it fucks with the thing.
Yeah.
Well, that's clearly what they're doing there. I think they just didn't even realize that she was part of the mix there at the end. And we're like, what the hell?
Yeah, I mean, you can clearly tell that, let's see, Mark's character is named Phil.
Yeah.
That Mark's character is like baiting them because obviously they have that whole storage room of all those little Jesus figures. So they're going by a basic figure, and then it's fascinating because they just tell
you
you.
thought they looked like Jesus. That's amazing. They just look like cavemen, I think, but
Okay.
they do look kind of like Jesus now that you're saying that. That's funny.
Yeah, I just got like the religious implication from that, and I was like, how fucking.
Well, I've seen other people
know.
theorize that, like, oh, maybe they put these in there to try to, like, have it be duplicated into something alive and see if they can, like, start human evolution in the Backrooms or some shit. And I was like, that's a very interesting idea, I guess, but I wouldn't say I agree with it. But
yeah, just based on like where we're seeing everything, where there's cameras in there, it just makes me think that it was used as a bait or to try to like research and capture, right? They try to figure out what there's moving around and then how they captured or collect it.
In the Backroom shorts, there's some other interesting things. Like one guy, he goes around a corner, is one of these async guys in one of those little suits, and he kind of, like, he sees the other people glitch out of existence, and then he runs around the corner, and they eventually resurfaces like 3 months later, but like it's a different amount of time has passed and shit. Like he skips time or jumps back in time. I can't remember exactly what it is. It's been a minute. There's a bunch of weird stuff like that that it didn't even like get to touch on in this.
Well, you got a little bit of that element because they had all the missing persons posters for the assistant manager.
Yeah.
And
again, there's a whole short on missing persons. There's one that's just called Missing Persons in his lore, so it's very interesting because the flyers look the same. It's different people, but
okay. Yeah. So like it does give you that element of time disappears because it doesn't seem like they're in there very long, or it seems like this takes place over a couple of days, especially when they go into the back rooms initially.
Yeah. I do think you can skip forward in time too, because it seems like at the end, you know, she shows up there and all those bills are piled there. So time has clearly passed. We don't know how long that motherfucker's been in there and just been not calling people or paying his bills. Just been, I guess, eating these things or whatever he's doing in there.
Yeah.
That was crazy. That was the funniest part to me. You can eat them.
And they're like stuffed. They almost look like yeah,
but that's because they, if you ask me, my theory on why they're stuffed is because furniture is stuffed.
Yes, they're becoming furniture in there.
And not even that they're becoming furniture. It's just that this thing recreates so much furniture that it thinks it doesn't know what's on the inside of a human at that point necessarily, or that human. It doesn't realize what is a human. It just realizes it's replicating an object, and it's like more times than not, I guess stuff is just stuffed.
Okay, so I have a question for you now that we're talking about this. Like, I didn't have this thought when I left the theater last night, but are all those pieces of furniture people that have been there just forever? For an extended period of time?
I don't think so.
Okay, just curious.
Because they're all copies, I think, and like I said, it's just recreating, like he says, from memory, but badly.
Yes.
And that's why they have stuffing in them, because it's recreated stuff before that has stuffing in it, and it doesn't know it's in a human. But what I will say about that is Pirate Clark has blood. When she smashes the rock on his face, he bleeds. It splatters all over her. You there? Did you freeze? Holy hell. What the heck, Streamlabs? Jesus. Seeing like 3 of them now, and he's paused on all of them. Holy crap. Now there's a 4th one. Oh, gosh. Let me hit him up real quick. Try to adjust this. Oh, shit. Seeing like 6 of you. Well, folks. Oh, is that so? We are experiencing technical difficulties. Hello?
All right. I don't know what the hell that's all about.
Dude, you just started looping. Like there were like 6 of you it was showing up.
Yeah, that's what was going on with you earlier. Like I was seeing tons of you in there, but now I see the whole chat, you, and you're moving this time, so. All right.
Well, there we go, I guess. I was saying that all of them are stuffed, the still lifes, but Pirate Clark has real blood. Because he is a more faithful recreation. An earlier recreation. With, like, a better memory, essentially.
Okay,
You know?
yeah.
The one that you can remember better. But it's still fucked up, obviously. And it is very creepy, and was played by... I can't remember the actor's name. The same guy. It's like a physical costume.
Robert Brobzok.
He's an alien Romulus.
Brobrovsky. Yeah, he's done because he's extremely tall. I think he was an amateur basketball player, if I recall correctly. Yeah, Alien, Romulus, and Backrooms. Okay, yeah, he was the human hybrid in Romulus.
Yeah, at the end, the weird thing.
Yeah, okay, that's awesome.
Yeah. I've seen people say that the Pirate Clark wasn't scary and was just goofy, which, to some extent, I do understand. Like, if you're expecting something just spooky. I thought it was spooky still.
Yeah.
It's just spooky in a different way.
Well, it's uncomfortable because it feels more like an imagination thing. So if you're going down this road of your memory not being accurate or you're going off your memory, I get that design aesthetic for it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're going to this and you're wanting traditional horror with like a scary looking monster, okay, then yeah, it wasn't super scary looking, but I got the impression that that was based off of that incorrect memory or the memory of a memory. And so it's like that's why it wasn't accurate.
Well, exactly.
Or
he's doing, like, that's what's so funny is when Phil's watching TV, the reason he pauses is not because he's seeing just Clark, but he's seeing Pirate Clark. And he's like, holy fuck, I've seen this monster roaming around, and now I know that it looks like this fucking guy in this commercial. And this fucking guy is roaming around the goddamn backrooms right now. I've seen his ass on the cameras.
Yeah.
The fuck's going on?
Yeah, that's pretty fascinating. And then so there's that whole aspect too of like, yeah, we originally made MRI machines. So to me, like at some point in time, the MRI machine fucked up and
This is in the
caused
shorts.
access to this.
You can
Okay,
watch
it is.
a lot
Cool.
of this stuff. Yeah, you should actually go do it because it's just more backstory, and it explains how they sort of were using magnets to do some shit,
Okay.
big ass
So-
electromagnets, and they eventually open the back rooms, and they're like, "What the fuck is this?" They open their own door to it, and then they start
Oh.
exploring it, and you get to see some of that shit.
Different actors in there, obviously.
Yeah, but some of it, like as he went on and it became more successful, there was like, clearly he hired some actors here and there and it got really short filmy, but sometimes it's literally just like, you know, you can tell it's him, but from the back or something at a
okay.
low angle, and like sometimes it's just not a person. It's just a fucking CGI person in a hazmat suit, essentially. Like all the hazmat suit
Oh,
people are not real. They're just
okay.
digital. So like again, most of it's done in Blender, but as he went on, there's a couple scenes here and there that are actually live action. I think the first one actually has some live action too, but just briefly at the beginning.
Okay, so let's talk about something we briefly talked about when I talked to you on your way back from the lake earlier. So this movie combines like the found footage element. So we go to that 4:3 aspect ratio, like a home camcorder or a security camera from the 90s, the early 90s. Basically, what's the timestamp say? The 1990 on the date
Okay.
stamps on all these?
Yes, this is another thing. So async, if I remember correctly, I want to say they opened their door to the Backrooms in like 88 or 89,
Okay.
according to the lore. And a bunch of the other found footage films and shorts do take place the same year that this takes place.
Okay.
And at the async lab that's at the end of this movie. So like it's it's very tied in. And I was trying to actually be like, wow, does this take place during any of that? Because that might be interesting.
Okay, that's a thought.
But I've looked into some of the timelines, and it's, for the most part, everything in the shorts happens like right up until the movie's about to take place. Like it's pretty connected. It's almost like a whole nother fucking movie. It's just in a lot of different contexts. Because like one of them is like the first one's just like called Backrooms Found Footage or something. And so it's like a guy making a short film with his friends, and he falls into the back rooms, and he's trapped there for a minute or whatever. And then there's ones that are from the perspective of like the async lab, like training videos and shit. So it's just a bunch of different perspectives and ways to look at it. It's really cool.
But what I really liked about it was you're going from this like hand camera, found footage, 4:3 ratio to like full screen stuff back and forth. Like about the time that it gets so shaky, you're like, holy shit, that's intense. Then like they do these like clever edits back to something else, and it really breaks up the story of it, and to me made it a lot more enjoyable because found footage can be a lot to take in, especially on a big screen. My favorite way to usually watch found footage is on a TV, just because that motion blur doesn't like drive me as crazy. But I thought this movie did a great job of blending the motion shaky cam with like actual regular footage to like tell the story and tell the narrative. So like you got this great combination of the two. So
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I just love found footage in general. I know it's a genre that not a
mhm.
lot of people like because they don't like watching that shit, but it's one of my favorite genres. And if I ever make a horror movie, it's probably gonna have some found footage elements to it. So, but like, Noroi the Curse is a Japanese found footage horror film, fucking fantastic and terrifying. Like, I
Mhm.
made you watch the WNUF movies because I found those and was like, holy shit, those are so
Yeah.
fun. Those types, like, I don't know, you could call it found footage or analog horror in general. Those are the kind of genres they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And what's the other one I was thinking about? Oh, like Late Night with the Devil is kind of like that too. It's not
Oh yeah,
exactly
okay.
found footage, but you know it's similar.
It's in the vein of it because it's
Yeah,
something that was recorded. Yeah. I get
you
what you're
get what
saying
I'm
there.
saying for sure.
Mhm.
So like that's a whole ass genre. The Ghost Watch, that movie fucking
Mhm.
rules. Yeah. Um, I don't know. There's a lot to say. I think people, if they're not into these deep kinds of movies that are also strange and unsettling and dreamlike, and one that you might not get all the answers for, then you might not like the fucking movie at all. But personally, that's my fucking bread and butter. Are you gone again? Are you frozen? You son of a bitch. Dude, Streamlabs sucks. Yeah, right. Oh, we're gonna try to get him back and finish this out real quick for you guys. And if anybody's even left. It's a terrible fucking show tonight, sorry. Lots of dead air. Let's see here. Anybody home? Nope. Well, maybe he's not coming back. And if that's the... Oh, there. I see your ass. We can at least wrap it up here. I see you. You hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you. I've been able to hear you this whole time.
Well, fucking A, you just disappeared completely for me. And froze.
Yeah. Yeah, it refreshed like 15 times on my end. Like the pages kept reloading. And then I came back in and I could hear you talking and you're like, you're gone still. And then refresh and I could hear you saying, oh, we should, wrap this up, dead air and all that stuff. So, I don't know. Dead air. All right. Yeah. Either way, since we've got connection issues, I guess, and I think it's Streamlabs on their end, but
I do too. Because it was happening last week and we do this every week with the same shit.
yeah, I would just say check this movie out if you haven't seen it yet. I can't wait to rewatch it and go check out the YouTube shorts and check out the lore. I think it was a pretty fascinating film. I haven't seen Obsession yet, so I can't compare it, but
I think they're only comparable in the sense that, you can connect them through YouTubers and their horror films, whatever, but
sure.
Backrooms is more my type of movie. Let's just say that.
Either way, whatever happens, I'm just happy that more people are going to theaters to see this kind of stuff, especially something like this that's going to be new to a pretty significant amount of the audience. But I love the fact that this is built off something that already had kind of a following too. I think that's strategic and smart. So,
yeah. All right. Well, until next time, guys.
We'll see you later.
Stay spooky, bitches.